the barbecue, the annual barbecue. Have you missed one yet?
When I was in Thailand doing Street Fighter, Reve and I missed that one. But that was it. And then every 6 months after that, we've been doing it at our house. We've had, how many have we been? Like 3 or 4? At least 3. At our house, had a couple parties at our place for the guys, which has been just fantastic. But Bull's places, Cutlass, that's the spot. And he's got this gorgeous house that he built basically himself, and this fantastic backyard. And it's just it's funny. The first year was Donnie had a kid, and Frank had a kid, and this and that, and so on and so forth. And now it's gazillion kids running around the backyard, from all the different guys, and it's fantastic. It's if there's ever a Hollywood family reunion, this is it. But it was literally like the guys would get together, and just drink as much beer as we could possibly put down our faces and laugh and tell stories and it was just it was awesome. Yeah, but now it's completely different. It's we're too old to do that stuff now, and we have to wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning with the kids.
Or in your case, become the all-American hero.
That's right.
The girls that we have come into the chat room, they refer to themselves as the Band of Sisters. And they are huge fans, not only of the series, but of each individual actor, and they know a lot of insights. They ask all these questions. They are fantastic with keeping tabs on all of you.
Basically, they would love it if you said, if you gave a shout-out to the Band of Sisters, and if you told them, I'm Buck Compton, baby.
Band of Sisters, I'm Buck Compton, baby. So I'll say this, Band of Sisters, to have a group on the other side rooting for us and always being there for us, that is much appreciated, and thank you very much for all of your thoughts and everything. So thank you.
Absolutely, and they're a great bunch of people. They might know as much about Band of Brothers as the veterans themselves. Like, they know it inside and out. Like, this is their way of expressing their joy. Anyway, we also have Megan Fitzgerald from Canada. She wanted to know if you were able to stick around even after all your scenes wrapped to watch everyone else's.
Well, nothing was shot in order, so it was like 7 and 9 were kind of shot at the same time, so it was right at the end, and then Switzerland was obviously at the very end. So we all basically left the same day. We all left at the end, and we're all kind of doing stuff, reshoots for other episodes and this and that. So there wasn't really any lull. There wasn't any like long break or anything. And, the great thing about playing Buck was that being the lieutenant, I didn't have to be in all the scenes with the 500 guys all the time. It was more, I'd do scenes with smaller groups and such, which gave me a lot more free time to really enjoy London with my wife and and her brother and it was I had a great time, and at the end it was hard to leave London because we had such a great time. In fact, our newest daughter's name is London, and so it's we really had a great, fantastic time then.
I was just reminded of another question, another story that I want to hear. It was brought up a little bit in Ron Livingston's video diary there, but tell us about the Jeep incident where you and the rest of the boys couldn't seem to make it work.
So what happened with this Jeep again?
Well, the scene at the scene in Livingston's diary is you're polishing your boots, and you're talking about how you and I want to say it was Cutlets was trying to start a Jeep, and you couldn't get it started. And you tried several things. You even tried bump starting it while rolling it down a hill. That didn't work, so you pushed it back to the top of the hill, and then one of the non-coms came over, jumped right in, first time, started up, and drove off with it.
Oh, that's right. Now I do remember. Boy, that was embarrassing, wasn't it? That wasn't the only time that happened. I mean, there was, we weren't, we're actors, not, truly mechanically inclined at times, I guess. That was some pretty funny stuff. But yeah, I mean, it was, they're, playing with things that old and thinking that you can, rationally command it, and you can't. And yeah, that was pretty funny.
Next week when we have Captain Die, a lot of the fellas are going to call in, and give him some grief. So we would love it if you would give a listen and chime in.
I would love it. That would be my pleasure.
All right. Well, this question might take the entire time that we have left, and I always ask it for the final question of the evening. How would you sum up the heroes that you portrayed, the real men of Easy Company?
Boy, that's a loaded question, isn't it?
You're right. It is a loaded question. It's one that garners some thought on most part of you, the actors portraying them.
And you'll know them like no one else.
Right.
Will know them. I mean, at least as us, like the viewers.
Yeah. Doing the movie, doing Band of Brothers was an awesome thing. And every time I talk to Buck, I'm like, dude, you have no idea. Of course, I don't say dude to Buck, but we got to his house in Peel Magazine and asking questions and such, and they're like, so, it was before Band of Brothers came out. We just finished filming, and it was about to come out like a month later. And it's like, so what did you do with all your medals? And his two daughters are sitting there, and they're like, what are you talking about? I'm like, yeah, what Buck, what did you do with your Purple Heart and your Silver Star and all that stuff? And the daughters are looking at him like, what are you talking about? And Buck just kind of looked at us and walked upstairs and into his attic and came out with this dusty old box and opened it up, and for the first time, his daughters realized who Buck Compton was.
Wow.
Yet to be part of that, to do the movie is one thing. To learn from a guy like that about what life is really about. He didn't want to bring any of that stuff into his daughters' lives when they were growing up because he thought, well, that was hell. Why would I subject them to that kind of hell? And boy, there was some emotion on that day, to say the least. And so when you ask me what was it like playing, one of these guys, and to get to know them and how tough they are and how relentless they are in being just who they are is something that rubs off on you, and it can't help but rub off on you. And that's why I say I wish to God that every actor had the opportunity that I have had, because it changed my life in every facet. You name it. There isn't a day goes by that I don't look at my wife and say, thank you God for playing Buck Compton, or look at my kids and say, thank you God for letting me play Buck Compton. And looking at my past, and when you say there I did 30 or 40 projects in these 10 years, I didn't even realize that. And I say, thank you God for that, and keep your head on straight, and keep your eyes on the prize, and great things will happen. And that's what I did all those years leading up to it. And when I got the chance to finally to play in the big leagues, and sit there at Fenway Park and have the opportunity to bang one out of the ball yard, let me tell you, pal, I swung as hard as I could every take, and I have ever since, and everything. So, and that's literally because I got to play Buck Compton.